Good morning. Listen, I know it's not Wednesday, but I still want you to walk with me for a minute because I wanted to talk a little bit about vocabulary instruction in STEM and in general, but really focused on STEM. So I think sometimes we believe that when it comes to vocabulary, right, that it is not something that we should be purposefully teaching in our STEM classes, right? That we assume that students will learn the vocabulary simply by engaging in the lab, engaging in the activity, and then listening to us use it to explain it. They may also sometimes use the words, but they learn them in almost as if they're these idiomatic expressions. And the true depth of their understanding of the vocabulary doesn't really come through until they are assessed or until those vocabulary words are used in the question and they realize that they never truly understood what that word actually meant, that they learned the name of a thing rather than an understanding, a true deep understanding of what that thing or that phenomenon actually is. And so in the sense-making work, the idea is that students are engaged in constructing their own understanding through doing the science, doing the work that helps them put an experience behind the vocabulary. And I think that is absolutely critical to building students' understanding of vocabulary. But here's the problem. A lot of those activities happen only when the student is in the presence of the teacher. And the problem with that is that we are not building their ability and their skill in tackling vocabulary, looking for vocabulary in the context of how it's used in the journal, in their textbook, when the teacher is not present, when there are no labs, when there are no hands-on activities. So what do we do about it? I propose that what needs to happen, and what I've seen happen because I've done it in my class, I've seen it done in other content areas where basically students are first given a preview. Good morning. First given a preview of the vocabulary, and it doesn't need to be far in advance. Right? They're given a preview. Here is the unit that we're working on. Here are the vocabulary words and their definitions that you're going to encounter. Here is a video. Here is a journal article. Here are the pages covered in your textbook, which address and discuss and provide examples and even descriptions of the phenomena that we're going to explore. I want you to look at the vocabulary and its definition and potentially answer these questions, come up with your own questions around it, using the vocabulary, using the examples that you see. What do you want to know more about now that you've read about this? And what you're doing is you are almost teasing their mind and priming their brain to accept this vocabulary, to grapple with what they then are going to see through the lab and through the activity the next day. This helps them to develop a skill of what do I do when I'm introduced to new, strong, hard vocabulary in a content area like some of our STEM content areas, which are language heavy, how do I navigate that before I am in front of the professor when they are lecturing for 90 minutes straight, covering 4 and 5 chapters at a time? This provides students with access. This is equitable. This is vocabulary in motion, giving them the language that they need so they can continue to build structure around it through the sense-making activities, through further vocabulary activities. I'd love to hear what you think about this. How do you introduce new vocabulary, new concepts with a lot of vocabulary in your class? How do you build students' vocabulary on a consistent basis? All right, love to hear. Drop your answer in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and like. All right, have a great day.